Good day all. This is the Self-Preservation Society. I'm Basil, Broadcasting Truth and Therapy, BBTT. Here I am using the talking stick. You know, Farron Young sung a song, It's 4 a.m, and here I am at 1 minute past 2 a.m. When you're awake, you can't sleep. You really can't sleep. I am still pretty angry, but, you know, I'm able to, I think, control my anger. I've been watching and listening with pain in my heart and tears on my cheeks to what's happening to those people in North Carolina and Tennessee, etc. You know, the Israeli state is genociding the Palestinian people. And what you're seeing in America is the American state genociding the American people. I don't know if the reports are true, but 200 dead, deceased, no more. I've listened to reports of people seeing bodies floating down the river and houses and other stuff. I've listened to reports where people saying the stench of death. I've seen videos of unmarked helicopters causing a downdraft where people are gathered to share and to distribute emergency aid to people. I've seen loads of stuff. And if you haven't seen it, then shame on you. And if it doesn't affect you like it affects me, then you have no soul. You simply have no soul. And it is understandable, not judging you, it's understandable why it doesn't affect you, because you're just a spiritual being with no soul. You may well be working in the police or the army or the medical industry or any other government-funded medical industry to oppress the rest of mankind. Have a look at yourselves. Have a deep, dark look at yourself. And only you can judge yourself. Only you can judge yourself. Other people may judge you, you know, and whatever. But I'm asking you to judge yourself, as I've judged myself. And I speak about it often on my channel, how I've done my shadow work, this, that, and the other, and continue to do my shadow work. That's why there's so much darkness in the world, because people are walking around in shadows. Souls are walking around in shadows, frightened of their own light. But the evidence is there. If you choose to ignore it, deny it, then shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. Shirley and Co. Shame on you if you can't see through. I've just been standing at my back door and this come to me. I know I talk about this subject a lot, but it's really, really dear to my heart. Everything I am is built upon the foundations of my spiritual awakening 40 odd years ago. And what I've learned and seen and read about through that, what I've experienced. And you know what? I'm going to tell you a story of what happened during the Second World War. There was a medium called Helen Duncan. You look her up. You look up the story of Helen Duncan. And she was a medium, a point between 2 points. But she was a deep trance medium. And what would happen, she would go into trance and a spirit communicator would step into her aura and often use hers and many other mediums like this back in the day, use their voice box, whatever, and communicate with those that are present. During a seance held during the Second World War, Helen Duncan was in trance, deep in trance, and somebody spoke through her, a communicator, that didn't have any family there in the seance room, but somebody there knew of this person's family. It's a sailor gone down on a ship that hadn't been reported. The Germans had taken this ship down. Tremendous loss of life, and this communicator was one of them. But it hadn't been reported. So this person who knew the family of this communicator, after the seance, went and told them, can't remember the name, look it up yourself. Your stand come through. I'm just making that bit up. Your stand come through, and says he's all right, this, that, and words to that effect. Well, anyway, it hadn't been reported and disclosed to the public. The families of those that had lost their lives had no knowledge of this until this communicator come through, Helen Duncan's deep trance mediumship, and to let know that he'd passed and wanted his family to know he's all right. Word got out about this. And the next time, or one of the next times that Helen Duncan had a seance, the government or government agents forced their way into the seance room when she was in deep trance, which resulted in her being hospitalised, because they wanted to know what was going on, collusion, this, that, and the other, and, how did they know all this, how did this get out, hadn't been disclosed. It resulted, ultimately, in Helen Duncan going to court and being tried under the Witchcraft Act of the 1700s. Winston Churchill, one of the few good things I could say about him, tried to speak up for her and whatever, but no, went to court and she went to prison under the Witchcraft Act of the 1700s. What happened then was that Witchcraft Act was repealed and it was replaced with the Fraudulent Mediums Act of 1954, I think it was. I might be wrong, but again, I ask you to do your own research. The point I'm making was that sort of evidence during wartime came through. And I spoke about where I was Saturday night and I'm looking at the greater picture. Spiritualism has been my life. I've studied it deeply. I often quote Sir William Crookes, come out with the greatest quote I've ever heard. Sir, I never said it was possible, I said it happened. You look up Sir William Crookes and Katie King. Bill Donahue on hiddenmeanings.com done a brilliant presentation on Sir William Crookes and Katie King called The Seance in White. I don't know if it's still available, but message Bill, go on to his website or catch him on YouTube, this, that and the other, about that. Brilliant presentation in which he spoke about who Sir William Crookes was and what he brought to us and whatever. And at a seance held under his exacting conditions and protocols was the medium Florrie Cook, who again was entranced. Present in that room at the time was Arthur Conan Doyle along with Sir William Crookes and a doctor, when the fully materialised spirit form of one Katie King materialised. The doctor took the pulse of that fully materialised spirit form, Katie King. Research it all for yourself. Go and dig and research. Sir William Crookes and Katie King. Put that into your search engine. But anyway, Sir William Crookes, and again, find out all you can about Sir William Crookes, all his accreditations and whatever, what he brought to the world. Spoke about this in all different places, including Parliament, but he spoke about this at a gathering in the City of London somewhere amongst his scientific peers, to Seti. And he spoke about all that happened at this seance with Florrie Cook, the medium, and Katie King. And some bloke stood up. It was in Edwardian times. Some bloke stood up and said, "Sir, are you saying this is possible?" And Sir William Crookes come back with this brilliant one-liner. He said, "I never said it was possible. I said it happened." These, I just reference a couple of these things here to tell you what the spirit world can do if we have a good understanding of it and utilise it, control it, because we can, for the right reasons. You show me, I challenge anybody to show me a medium working on that level today. They don't. They have absolutely no understanding of those aspects of mediumship that spiritualism was founded on. Very little evidence of that today. In Lakota traditions, they would have a man called the Uwipi man, very much similar to the physical medium that Helen Duncan was and Florrie Cook was, and many others. Many others. Look up the story of Jack Webber. Jack Webber was tied into a chair in a seance room. When the seance was over, he wasn't there. The ropes that tied him were still in position, but he wasn't there. Everybody panicked, and they eventually found him out the back, disorientated, lying on the ground. The spirit world had dematerialised him. His physical form dematerialised it, went through the walls, through the window, whatever, without anybody knowing, and they found him out the back. In the annals of spiritualism that started with the Fox sisters in 1848 in Hydesville, New York, many such occurrences are recorded. And it fascinated me when I first started this journey 40 years ago. And the sort of mediums and the philosophy that come from those mediums. You look up the Arthur Findlay books, the Age of Ignorance, the Edge of the Etheric, the Rock of Truth, this, that, and the other, and you look up, books from way back when, mediums that actually allowed their mediumship to be used in a way to inspire, enlighten, and enable those. They just wasn't saying, "Oh, I've got your mum and dad here," and you'll know when she's about, can smell cinnamon cakes and all this fucking bollocks. The spirit world, when understood and utilised properly, with respect, knowledge and knowing, the sort that I have, and I see it very rarely amongst, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, bigging myself up, I have the abilities of physical mediumship. I am a transfiguration medium. I've been into trance once in my life. Put a right fuck into me, that did, for 3 days. But anyway, my path, while often as I've walked it, has and continues to have lack of knowledge and knowing, my path, the way I've walked, has been full of integrity. Everything I've done for the right reasons, because it's the right thing to do. I have never fucking charged anybody in order that I would personally profit or gain from my gifts, these abilities. Whether I've been running circles, giving readings, giving healing, sitting in the cabinet, this, that, and the other, some wonderful things happen there. And incidentally, anybody in Kent that's listening to this and is serious, as I am, about spiritualism, and would be interested in forming a physical circle, then have a word with me. Come and have a word with me. But do not come and seek me out if you charge people. Do not come and seek me out. You're one of these mediums that fucking charge people and tell them what you think they want to hear in order that they would cross your palm with silver. That ain't me. And I fucking hate it. With a vengeance. I fucking hate that. And those that do that with a vengeance. Yes. Everybody needs money, this, that, and the other. But it's the intention behind it. Gene Williams, nearly 90, only charges £15 for a reading. For many years it was 12. Most other mediums around, and most of them have had a go, you should charge more, this, that, and the other. She's told me about it. But she won't. She ain't got a pot to piss in. But she's genuine, and when she developed her mediumship with Mrs. Wells, wasn't microwave mediumship development. It can take years. And it does take years. 40 years for me. And still learning, still becoming more aware. Some of them, they sit in a fucking circle for a few weeks and what have you, And then all of a sudden they're charging 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, even more. See, so many of them around the Kent area. And they couldn't hold a fucking candle to me because they have no integrity in the way that I have and express it. They make me sick. But you know the old saying, and this is what a spirit is about. The old saying, and I remember me mum and her twin and me nan saying this as I was a kid growing up, the devil looks after his own. And he does. And those that do the bidding of the devil, Satan, will be rewarded spiritually. And that's why these that control us and whatever, here in the physical, answering to their masters in the non-physical. That's why they keep coming back and they keep harvesting the energy, frequency and vibration, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and on a soul level of all the rest of us. And this, what is happening in America, where they're killing, actively killing their own people, genociding them to pursue an agenda based upon ripping the breast of Mother Earth and taking the lithium that lies beneath it. How much more has this sentient being that gives life to all who dwell upon it got to take before she kicks us all off? And she's done it before. She's done it before. Make no mistake about it. She has burped earthquakes, this, that and the other. Natural earthquakes. She has brought floods upon to cleanse and purify this, that and the other. Where she is so scarred and hurt by those that walk upon her, that have no respect for her, that do not live in a natural balance with her. You know what's happening today, people? It's not just the state of Israel genociding Palestinian people. It's not just the state of America genociding its own people. It's the rest of us sitting back and watching it happen, history unfold. Most are blind to it, deaf to it, numb to it. Me, it fucking ripping the insides out of me, bearing witness to it. Ian said to me, Ian, who follows me on Odyssey, look at my latest upload. I rang him up and, he said, you can't carry it. I can. And I will. Because I want to make a difference. And running away from it will not make a difference. It just allows it to continue. And I will continue to try and bring the words to empower, enlighten and enable others to stand up, to show some balls and put a fuck into all those and their agents that seek to control and denigrate incarnated souls on this planet. I have no fear in telling you that during the development of my physical mediumship, this figure that you know as Christ, I call this figure Sananda, others call him Yeshua. This figure that in a previous incarnation was Thoth, and in a previous incarnation was Mithra, this, that, and the other. It's the same energy, keep coming back, trying to make a difference. That figure was seen with me as Christ, Sananda, Yeshua, on more than one occasion. Nobody outside my seance room knew about this until one night in October 2016 at the Hive Spiritist Church, just outside Folkestone in Kent. Medium Barbara Ormond, working for the first time there, knew no one. Told me about this in public. And blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. And I said to her afterwards, I said, A, I've got to say two things to you. I said, the first one is, A, to stand on a public platform and give a message like that takes some balls. She said, I agree. I said, and the other thing is, you can only give a message like that if you are suitably aware and developed enough to raise your vibratory state high enough up to meet that energy coming down. He's not your nan and granddad, or you know, whatever. That's a special energy. And I've told you before, and again, I don't say this to blow my own trumpet. I speak about my personal experiences here, not for fame or fortune, but to empower, enlighten, and enable you. You know, I was doing a private reading for a bloke on Skype in Portugal, and I brought Bob Marley to him. He laughed like fucking mad, and I thought he was laughing at me. But no, his father grew up with Bob Marley until he was 18 and moved to England. And after that, they remained in touch. Grew up with him, played football on the streets, Jamaica with him, and this, that, you know. And I'm giving this bloke a message, reading on Skype. He's in Portugal. And I've got Bob Marley communicating. Bob Marley was a special soul. Done so much good while he was here. And that's what I seek to do. Jesus says, let your eye be single. As I do, you can do also and far greater things. Knowing the truth will set you free. So I live my life. And it challenges a lot of people, especially so-called spiritual people or spiritualist people, this, that, and the other. They're fucking hypocrites. The vast majority I've come across are either hypocrites or completely fucking ignorant as to the history of spiritualism and all that it represents and what can be achieved. You mentioned Helen Duncan to them, they wouldn't have a clue what you're fucking on about. Mention Sir William Crookes, they wouldn't have a clue what you was on about. Arthur Finlay, and people like that, who done all the foundational work, the investigation, scientific investigation into this, what we call the spirit world. And like here, in the physical, the spirit world has the good, the bad, and the ugly. And by their deeds, ye will know them. But when I sat listening, as I did Saturday night, as I've listened many other times, you get a medium standing up there often with all good intention, but often just saying what people want to fucking hear. There is no philosophical truths coming from the spirit world that I can tell you about, other than what I'm trying to bring you. And I say that with all humility, all love, with all care, and all empathy. Stop going into these places. If you are serious, then do your own work. Come together with a group and do what are the founders of what we know as modern day spiritualism done. Sat indoors, in circles, in seances, in truth, in sincerity, and in an abundance of love, in order to build, to bring the stuff that is there in the annals of spiritualism. And it's all been, where have we gone wrong? Where has spiritualism and these so-called spiritual people gone wrong? You know, I think about it, I philosophize over it a lot. And I'm thinking, because I've gone beyond that, and I'm not being conceited or arrogant. Knowing the truth will set you free, he said. And it's not enough to know it, you've got to have a knowing of the truth. Seek to have a knowing of the truth, and you become aware, and that's what I've done. Transcended the spiritual aspect of self, which is false, completely and utterly false. And that's why I bring you what I bring you here. And I know it's challenging for a lot of people. As I said in my last upload, Henry Kissinger one, you know, when I mentioned a couple of people I've run into, people are challenged by the truth. They're in fear of the truth. They're ignorant of the truth. And they deny the truth. Not me. Not me. And I will forever speak the truth at my point of knowing and awareness to empower, enlighten and enable you, because as I said in that last upload, I love you. Black, white, yellow, red, gay, straight. I love you. Whoever you are, I love you. As that one of those first memes says, you can't save everybody. All you can do is love them. And I am sincere in what I say when I say I love you, because that's why I do this. I don't seek to gain or to profit off you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. Freedom of mind, body and spirit. Freedom just to be. Freedom to become aware and to be knowing. I want you to have it all. That's why I do what I do here. I'm so proud of myself that I've never, ever charged anybody to personally profit or gain. I haven't prostituted my spiritual gifts, my awareness. So proud of myself. Humbly proud. But I'm proud. Because I know, as that Native American prayer says, at the red and purple sunset, my spirit and my soul can come to you without shame. I'm not perfect, you know, but I work here on my shadows in order that I may be the light that guides me and hopefully guides you. Because that's what it's about. That's what it's about. The secret to life is to work for the self, but live for each other. That's the secret to life. Work for the self, but live for each other. If you don't, after all this, after what's happening, if you don't throw your tellies away, cancel all your TV subscriptions, and focus on the self firstly, and then focus on unlearning all that you have learned in order that you may learn again, then shame on you, and nobody can help you. If you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody else, and nobody can help you. And we're all connected, people. We've got to help each other. But first, we've got to help ourselves. I strongly urge you and implore you, not just this, but any other message on my main BitChute channel, if it resonates, please share it. Please share it. There's nothing in it for me. Share the message. Especially in truther groups and spiritual groups and this, that and the other, so-called spiritual groups. Spiritualist people, this, that and the other. Share it. Share everything. If we can all work together to raise our individual and our collective vibratory state, we change everything. But first you've got to care. You've got to care about you, and then you've got to care about that which is outside of you. Mark Passio's Natural Law Seminar from 2014, I think it was. 8 hours, 56 minutes he spoke, and then brought it down to that one word. One 4-letter word, care. Palamia, thank you. In Lakesh, in UIC Anatomy. Mitakui o Yasin. We are all related, we are all relatives. And I tell you again and again and again, we're all connected. And yet we're so disconnected.